Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Tuesday training with Tom. And we have David in the background. David Lemon is with us here, going to be answering questions that you have in the comment area, in the chat area. And prior to us doing that, let me share my screen here. And we'll go through a couple slides. These are pretty standard for each week. If you've been here before, you probably know the deal. Today, we're going to talk about this particular topic. Tough times don't last, tough people do. And obviously, with these unique times that we're in, it's very important for any entrepreneur, whether you're starting, whether you have tremendous success, achieved all your dreams, and everywhere in between, what's happening in your personal and professional life impacts your ability to focus, impacts your ability to get things done, impacts your ability to produce the value that you produce to your marketplace in the proper manner, and reap the rewards, results, and profits that are yours from sowing those proper seeds. We're going to deal with that. How to keep your mind right and create consistent progress and results using GrooveFunnels during these unique times. The text cut out there, so I filled the rest in. So fill in me where you're joining us from. Go ahead in the side there and type in where you're joining us from. Now, if you hear me if you hear me state your name as Facebook user, this is why I'm seeing it as Facebook user. I'm in StreamYard, and inside StreamYard, wherever you're joining us from, whether that's Facebook or YouTube or elsewhere, if I say your city, state, or whatever you post in there as Facebook user, you haven't done this step yet. So go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. You only do it once, and then once you've done that, I'll be able to see in the upcoming trainings your name. And we have one person who's here already, Dean. No matter how many times he does this, he still comes up as Facebook user. So Dean, good to see you. Dean's from Orlando. So if you're joining us, go ahead and type in where you are joining from. So let me know in the chat where you're joining in from today. And we will jump into some of the training. So the interesting part about today is today had a very powerful training occur right before, a multi-hour training occur right before us getting on. So that's probably going to impact our normal attendance, but that's okay. By you choosing to be here, you are going to learn some insights that are going to be profound and are going to be stuff that we're going to talk strategy. We're going to put pen to paper back here, show you some strategies that produced with me working with Mike Filsaime from 2006 to 2011, tens of millions of dollars of results. We're going to break that down on this whiteboard here. And let me jump over here to see who's with us. So Christine, good to see you here. Always enjoy your energy you bring to it. Kathy, same thing. Good to see you from Missouri. Dean, always good to see you here, Dean, as a Facebook user from Orlando. Acupuncture Videsk, Miami. Good to see you here. And Christine from Missouri. And as mentioned, due to the co-founder, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Filsaime, doing a multi-hour training right before this, we kind of had the thought and the feeling that it may be a little smaller attended training, which is perfect because we get to be more intimate and handle your issues and challenges as you're here with us live. Eric Strickland is here from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Facebook user says, hi, Tom, wishes from Singapore. I see you as Facebook user from Singapore. If you go to, this one right here, let me go to this slide here. If you go to this URL, StreamYard.com/Facebook from Singapore, if you can go to that URL and do that real quickly, I'll be able to see your name. But good to have you here from Singapore. Pierre, good to have you here from Quebec. And Sylvia from Miami. All right, perfect. So we're going to jump into this and we're going to dive right in rather quickly and share with you some insights that are extremely powerful. There we go. Yes, that's it. Kathy, we're repping Missouri. Yes, Missouri is in the house, being represented very well. Al, all the way from Orlando. Very good. Glad to have you here, Al. Kathy, my boy, hey friend. Facebook user Keelani, hello. Hi, Keelani. Peter, hey, Tom, coming from New Zealand. Wow, awesome. Very good. Kiwi is in the house. That's awesome. Love to have it. Glad to have you all here. We are international. And as you see on the screen here briefly, we're going to jump over. If we can show the full screen, I'll get that one out of stop share. Okay, great. So basically, tough times don't last, tough people do. Now, I'm bringing this up because of these unique times and because when I'm talking with my friends, I mean, many of my friends I'm talking with have produced tens of millions, some hundreds of millions of dollars. And a lot of the conversation goes back towards this topic. Man, my mind just is having a hard time getting focused, right? With all the stuff that's happening. And no matter what level of success any of us have attained, myself, you might feel same, or anybody, when chaos and when things are happening personally and professionally, it impacts our ability to focus. It impacts our ability to gain that clarity. It impacts our ability to dedicate non-interrupted time focused on moving our business forward for this 1 hour, for this hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever that time frame is. So what we're going to be talking about here are some strategies. And the first strategy that I want to put out there for you to consider is, from my journey, I've recognized there's a whole bunch of things I can't control. And there's 3 things that I can't control in this entire world, an entire journey. So basically, I can't control the world. I can't control this country that I live in, the United States. I can't control any elected officials. I can't control anyone outside of me. I can only control my thoughts, my words, my actions. And the way that I like to break this down, and I hope this is as powerful for you as it is for the few that I've shared this with over the years, is I grew up on a farm, right? So as a youngster, I lived in North Carolina. We had horses, we had cows, we had pigs, we had chickens, goats, a whole bunch of a variety of animals. It mainly was a milk farm, but the animals, it's a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week commitment to take care of the animals and also take care of the fields, right? Because the fields were where we would put the seeds in, and we would get the corn. We'd put the seed in, and we would go bale the hay and et cetera. So we had to take care and plan in advance, make sure that we tilled the soil, make sure we planted the seeds, make sure they were covered up properly, fertilized, the weeds were pulled out, and or we used the proper agents to make sure the weeds didn't take over the field. And it took a commitment, because there's that saying that says, as you sow, so shall you reap. As you sow, so shall you reap. As you sow the seeds into the ground and care for them, that's how you'll reap. If you take care of those seeds and you find the fertile land, first of all, you till it properly, you put them in, you cover them up, you fertilize them, you water them, you pull the weeds, you're doing what's yours to do. And generally, when you take care of it properly, you can sleep well at night knowing that it's going to produce the proper results. Same thing applies in business, right? So that said, I was just mentioning with David before we went live here, I'm in Florida, and a notification came up saying there's some storm coming up supposedly this weekend. That circles back to the farming analogy as well. Sometimes a storm comes up. Sometimes a storm ruins the crop. It's not that common, but it does happen, right? So you don't worry about it. You don't fear about it. You don't fret. You do the proper work. You sow the seeds. You take care of it properly, and you're going to reap the rewards of that field. But eventually, every once in a while, I mean, sometimes fortunately it can go a decade, or it can go, numerous years before a crop is ruined from a real bad storm, right? And so we could look at this storm that the world is currently under, this virus, this situation that isn't centralized to a specific location. It's impacting the entire world as a big storm, right? And guess what? A lot of businesses didn't weather this storm. It was totally unpredictable. There was really nothing people could do to plan for it because it just came out of the blue. So this may be you. This may be someone you know where they had a successful business up until a few months ago. And they did plant the proper seeds. They did sow the proper activities. They did, fertilize it. They did water it. They did care for it, meaning they did have a system in place that took care of their current customers and clients. They did have a system that cast a net to the prospects that could value their products or services, that would then show them a path to go from being a prospect to becoming a client, and then the whole onboarding process, et cetera. They could have had that whole system dialed in. Yet it could have been their traffic source was the mall or the traffic source was this shopping center, or the traffic source was, you name it, like a whole bunch of brick and mortar businesses that depend on that local traffic. People, we talk, and we'll be talking more about the online strategies, but in businesses, many of the traffic is walk-in business and or people that are in that local community, if they're real estate, if they're insurance agents, etc. Right? So walk-in business by referral, all that fun stuff. When this storm came, we can circle back to that description that I'm helping you understand, that farming is very similar to building your business, right? So they could have taken all the proper steps, and this unforeseen storm came and knocked them totally out. Now, some are totally out, like literally bankrupt, gone. The business is done. And we're talking super successful businesses. There's multiple billion-dollar businesses that were doing hundreds of millions to tens of millions, a million. Hundreds of thousands, and providing for the family. And if we break it down, like I'm sure each of you in your local area have restaurants that depended upon that traffic, right? Restaurants can't survive digitally. They need those people to come in and put that food in their mouth and pay for that food, right? Well, in many of the areas in the United States and elsewhere, the restaurants were literally forced to not be able to open their business. Right. And so and we're talking years of blood, sweat, tears, all of their time, effort, energy, and resources. And when the storm came, poof, like, and you can sit there and you're on your knees praying, like, well, what did I do to deserve this? I didn't do anything wrong. And this storm just came and impacted people like that. And it really sucks. But it doesn't happen. Like in my lifetime, this is the only time, thankfully, that a storm like this came. Now, going back to 2008, there was the whole financial collapse and things like that, which was a storm in and of itself. But I feel this storm was even more. Nobody was excluded from this. So the bottom line is, and this isn't a depressing thing. It actually has a very big positive lesson in here that we're going to get to here shortly. But this is just the reality, right? So if you're that farmer and everything was destroyed, I mean, just think of it, like, whoa, like the tornado came and just destroyed everything, the buildings, the house. But here's the good part, like the family's safe, right? And that's really where we get back to, like, hey, stuff happened. Can I change a thing that happened yesterday, a minute ago, an hour ago? No. Things happened. And guess what? We can get on our knees and pray. You can shed tears. You can wonder why, how, what, all those questions. But then after you do that, you stand up, you dust yourself off, say, well, crap, that sucked, right? Let's just call it what it is. That sucked. Give me a 5 in the chat if you ever had a moment like that, where you woke up and you're like, well, that sucked. Whether it was a business, whether it was a relationship, whether it was whatever that storm was in your life, give me a 5 in the chat if you ever had a moment like that. I've had numerous moments. I counted how many restarts I've had to have, and it's over 7. I'm talking complete restarts, over 7. Pierre's got a 5. So let me look back up here and just see some stuff. This is the only training I need. Tough training for Marines that matter. Yes, Kenneth. Yes, this is going to be a pivotal point for, I think, everybody that's here live and those that are fortunate enough to watch it as a replay as well. Respectfully, I've been trained by members that were Marines, U.S. Coast Guard, and Air Force. Awesome. Success was drilled into me. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This diplomatic training helps. Practical greatness wrapped into one. Yes. Thank you. So Pierre, yes. Carrie, 5. Jerry, 5. Facebook user, hand up. Facebook user, hand up. Facebook user, hand up. Dean, it's called life. Yes. So life happens, right? So look, there's a time to grieve that. And there's a time to be like, crap. I mean, you lose a family member. You lose a business. You lose a friend. Right? And it sucks. There's no way to sugarcoat it. But you get over that. You dust yourself off. You take a deep breath. Man, I didn't expect that. That sucked. But you know what? I'm still here. I'm still here. It's not over for me yet. Like I got more to come. So watch this. Here, hold my pen. Watch this. So the bottom line is, here we all are, regardless of what's happened. That storm came. And guess what? There may be another storm that comes. And we don't, well, here's the analogy. Here's the analogy that really, this is what it all boils down to. If I were to share like one of the biggest secrets in life. Now, I'm here in Florida. I spend a lot of time on the beach. And one of the fun things to do as a kid and as a father doing it with the kids is building like a sandcastle or something. Now, trust me, you saw how I can draw. I don't have the artistic skills to make those big old, nice sand pieces of art. Like I just do the basic, grab the bucket, fill it, stack it, and do like basic, stuff, stick figure type stuff, but it's still fun. So here's the lesson in this. When you're at the beach building that and having fun, those aren't permanent. That the tide is going to come up and wash them away. But you're still, here's the difference. You're building it knowing that it's not permanent, knowing that the tide's going to wash it away. So when it happens, you aren't pouting, you aren't crying, you aren't throwing a fit over it because you knew it was impermanent. You knew it was temporary. It wasn't a permanent fixture in this, existence. It was a temporary thing. So if you can go through life knowing that each of these different chapters in our life, in between storms or in between successes, whatever those milestones are, like I can think back, obviously my son just graduated high school, class of 2020. Ironically, or just factfully, I was not able to fly from Florida to New York due to legislation where there's a 2-week quarantine period. And if you get caught not doing it, they fine you and all this other stuff. And they only gave 2 tickets per high school student for a graduation ceremony. So I chose to not go due to those things. And I never in a million years figured I wouldn't be at my son's high school graduation. But that was a choice, right? So I'm saying that as a kind of a follow-up to the thing. Everything is a choice. I could have, improvised, adapted, and overcame, driven the whole way if need be. But I chatted it out with my son. And this all ties back into business as well. Everything has opportunity cost, right? And we weighed those opportunity costs. Should I drive up, and all this? And he's like, you know what? He was down here a couple of weeks ago. We'll make it up. We'll have a blast when he comes down in a few weeks to hang out with me again in Florida, right? So there's no fear of missing out. It's a choice. Okay, we have these obstacles. Am I going to improvise, adapt, and overcome, or am I going to make a different choice? And so I chose to stay here versus A, fly there, B, 2-week quarantine period, or drive, all those fun things. So I chose to do that, right? And if you can bring it back to the locus of what we talked about, I can't control what anyone else says or does. I can only control what I think, say, and do. And when I'm building these sandcastles, it's not my baby per se. In these business, like you don't get caught up in all the minuscule details. You assess the situation and you make choices. And what we're going to be talking about, some of the strategies here that we're going to put pen to paper that you can now see behind the scenes of what Mike Filsame and I and team did to produce tens of millions of dollars of results using the tools that you have available inside GrooveFunnels, which we're also going to dive into and show how what we put on here can be applied in this Groove Pages and Groove Sell through GrooveFunnels tools. You can replicate that success, right? But with that said, we have to circle back to tough times don't last, but tough people do. So we have to come to this point right here, right now. Stuff's happening in each of our lives. Stuff's happening around the world. And we have to narrow it down to here, right now, and me. So I shared this just, with many of my clients, many of my friends that have produced great results. And a lot of them have empathy. A lot of them have the willingness and desire to go impact many lives through their training, through their coaching, through their business, through their products and services they provide, through their business and through their professional services. And one thing that you have to circle back to, tough times don't last, but tough people do, is you got to take care of yourself. And I'm going to share this. Some of you may have heard this if you follow me, but this is important to reiterate. That when we do fly on airplanes and they give us that safety briefing, they say, and if the oxygen masks fall down, be sure to put your oxygen mask on first before helping any family members or any others that might be in need. So in order to survive tough times, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I doing the proper things for me to be at my maximum capabilities? Am I taking care of myself? Am I drinking the proper drinks, hydrating myself, eating the proper foods, moving my body properly, AKA staying in optimal physical shape, getting the proper sleep. So I'm taking care of myself so that I can take care of others. And once you take care of yourself, you're then more set up to take care of others properly. Because what happens in tough times is a lot of people jump into that mode of, I'm going to help so much, that they spread themselves so thin, helping so many others, that they don't take a look at themselves in the mirror, and they're neglecting themselves and run themselves down. Now, I'm saying this for multifold reasons. I have friends that have done very, very well, that were so wanting to help so many people in so many different ways that they took their eye off of putting their oxygen mask on. And while in many cases that was their health, they didn't stay on track with that. In other cases, they took their eye off of the stats of their business, right? So you got to take care of yourself. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. You have to be able to say, that person in the mirror is the most important person for me to take care of. And whatever that means to you, personally, professionally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, making sure your relationships are in the right place. That all leads to what we're here for today, building your business and building your results. That's how tough people survive. And when you do that, you're able to be that person for yourself and for your family, for your business, for those around you. And it's a trickle effect. Now you're all able to really make a big difference together. All right, so close that out. All these dings and dings going on here. All right, so that's a little setup for today. Give me a 7 if you're still with me. Give me a 7 if you are still with me on this conversation that we're having today, before we get pen to paper and start talking multi-million-dollar strategies. And then we jump into GrooveFunnels. Kenneth says, incredible. My son graduates high school this year. Also can relate. Yeah. Ed Ford from Marion, Illinois. Good to have you here. Christine, 7. Yes. Facebook user 7. Jerry, 7. Carrie, 7. Pierre, 7. Awesome. All right, you're with me. Facebook user 7. One of them's Dean, I'm sure. Facebook user 7. Very good. Cool. So y'all are with me. And so now, cool. Dean's there. Gene, 7. Nelly, 7. Facebook user 7. Facebook user 7. Awesome. Good. You're still with me. So now it boils back to discipline and commitment and consistency. So once you're taking care of yourself, now you have to break away and say, there's not going to be making time, right? You ever heard that person say, hey, make some time for that? Nobody makes time. Time is 24 hours a day. Each of us has 24 hours. It's the great equalizer. So you're not going to make time. It's creating, that environment to put the big rocks. You ever see the big pickle jar experiment where they put the big pickle jar on the table, and you got the big rocks, you got the medium-sized rocks, the smaller rocks, the sand, and the water. And if you put it in the reverse order, and you put the small rocks in, the medium rocks in, the sand in, the water in, and then try to put the big rocks in, it doesn't fit, right? It's just not enough room there. So what you have to do is start with the big rocks. And what we talked about just up to this point are the big rocks of taking care of yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, taking care of your relationships. And now we're going to jump into the big rocks of business. One of the first big rocks of business is to not let other people push your schedule around, right? It's putting the stake in the ground to say, time is my most precious and valuable, ever fleeting asset. So I'm going to look at my schedule, and I'm going to schedule in the big rocks. So that whole analogy of the pickle jar is your schedule. For time, your big rocks are what you've determined are the highest and best use activities of your time. So in what we're going to be talking about today, and what we're going to put pen to paper on, and then we're going to jump into GrooveFunnels and show in action, is how to create a funnel and how to create a flow that goes from this, like putting out information that casts a net to potential clients, to prospective clients, prospects, getting their attention, first of all, to at least take a peek. And then once you have their attention, going through the process to where they're like, holy cow, this is amazing, I'm in, right? Which means entering their name and email. Then immediately, we're going to show some strategies of what to do once they have entered your world as a prospect, how to immediately escalate them into joining as a client or a purchaser of your products and services. And then the various flow that can go down to maximize that experience for them and maximize it for you, AKA provide the massive amount of value, which produces the maximum amount of revenue and profits for you. But you have to first take control of your most precious and ever fleeting asset, which is time. So in 24 hours, the first thing that the decision needs to be made once you have intentionally said, I'm going to take my results from where they are to where I want them to be. I'm going to really grow at a very rapid pace. Say, okay, what are those highest and best use of my time activities? And one of them is creating new front-end offers that get people into my world. And now that offer could be an offer that gives them the massive value only for their name and email, or an offer can be possibly the initial upsell from that, the one-time offer of, hey, congratulations, if you like that, you're going to love this, and turning them from a free person who's engaged with you to a person who now purchases either through their credit card or PayPal or other devices to now become a paying client. We're going to go through that process for you. And so that's one of the big rocks, is creating front-end lead generation pages, AKA opt-in pages, and creating offers that are irresistible offers to turn people from a prospect to a client. And then taking your time. Another big rock is creating more offers that take the initial engagement and go even deeper and grow larger, right? Which are called upsells and downsells. And we're going to dive into that. So that is the preface. Let me see if we got here. So Denise from Texas is here. My daughter's in Perth. She cannot come back for the holidays. Facebook user. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So it's a crazy time, but we can circle back to what we can control: our thoughts, our words, our actions. Now, the good part is, even though I chose, there's always a way, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. So I was presented with the obstacles. I assessed, like, in the Marine in me is always like, oh yeah, I can't do it, watch me, right? So I assessed everything. I chatted it with my son and my daughter, to see, and it just really didn't make the most sense. Like, you know what, Dad, it doesn't make sense, not necessary, right? So together we made that choice. So I couldn't have, where there's a will, there's a way, is the bottom line. I chose to stay here and not to be there live for my son's graduation, right? After weighing the pros and the cons, that was a choice that I made. Never thought I would make a choice like that, but that was assessing the options, weighing the opportunity costs, and made it. Have no regrets over it. Am just making my voice known in ways that I can, with my thoughts, my words, and actions, to share my unhappiness with how many of these situations are being handled in the United States and elsewhere. And other than that, it's going to be what it's going to be. I can only do so much, and I'm going to stay in my bubble and live my life according to my rules and do what I feel is best for me and my family. And the world's going to do what they're going to do. Good luck. Right. So that's the deal. Now we're going to transition into some pen on paper stuff. So give me a 9. Give me a 9 if you're still with me and ready to put some pen to paper to talk about some multi-million, to the tune of tens of millions of dollars of strategies that we're ready to dump into. So Carrie White, that's show enough worth talking about. Yes. Yep. Christine, if you have not done so, please give permission so Tom can see your name. Yes. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Thank you, Christine. Juan Valdez. Hey, you don't want to make some coffee, Juan? Wait a second. We got Juan Valdez in here. Juan, good to see you. I'm sure that's probably the first time you ever heard that, right? I'm sure. Haha, Tom's hilarious. Juan, I try to be a comedian, and sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. Anyhow, glad to have you here, Juan. And you're ready to rock. That's awesome. Jerry, Christine, Pierre, James, Jean, Facebook user, Nelly, Eric, Facebook user, Scott, Juan, haha. Yeah, Tom, that's the first time I've ever heard that. Yep, I'm sure. So I'm glad it's a fun conversation starter, right? You should bring some coffee around. That would be hilarious. Scott Kane, 99s, awesome. Christine, laughing. All right, I'm taking this. It's getting hot now. We're gonna bust it down. We're gonna bust it down and jump into some multi-million-dollar strategies. And this is the real deal. This is the stuff that Mike and I would sit down and go through to put together launches, to put together different offers, whether it was to get more people on our list, and then, as you'll see, immediately convert them into paying clients. Juan says, should be getting royalties for my name. Yes, absolutely. That's a great one. That's a good one. So here we go. So we're going to jump into GrooveFunnels here shortly, but just to give you a basic thing, and then we're going to jump over to some more complex things. So real basically, I mean, in essence, you have an offer. I like to go just video, and there it is. And now that can be name and email, and then it leads to your thank you page. And that's as basic as you can get. On the next sheet, I'm going to show a little more in depth. So not every offer needs a video. And I'm sure you've seen this. And one of the greatest things that is available to us now is R&D is known in the world as research and development. But R&D is also rip off and duplicate. That's what it's been termed in the business world of today. Rip off and duplicate. Now, I put a timeout honestly and ethically, right? The last thing you want to do is copy somebody to the point where you're plagiarizing them, copying them to the point where you're using images or their text. Like you want to change things up, but you can get the feel, right? So if you find somebody that has a formula, and what I mentioned originally is not all opt-in pages need video. There's tons of highly successful opt-in pages that are just I'll make this one here. Headline, opt-in. And you can't even see that, right? And it's just a headline and an opt-in. Simple as that. Headline and opt-in. But depending on what you are doing, sometimes the video is appropriate, sometimes it's not. And then the other thing that you have is the ability to split test. And we'll talk about that probably a little more depth in another training, but the bottom line is everything's a hypothesis until you test it with your marketplace. The marketplace is going to tell you if it's a good idea or not, meaning if it's working or not. So here's some funny stories. So Mike Filsame and I, real simple. Okay, we want an opt-in page and we want a thank you page. Boom. We're going to flip and go to some advanced stuff here shortly. So we ask ourselves, okay, this answers the question, how long should it be? Whether it's a video, whether it's a sales page, whether it's an opt-in page, how long should it be? The answer is as long as it needs to convey the message to where your people can make the proper choice. As long as it needs to be. Like, how long does it need to be to say where you give me $5 and I'm going to give you this $1,000 iPhone? That's a pretty irresistible offer, yay? Pretty irresistible. That's not true. I'm not going to do that. So $5, but you get what I'm saying. Hey, send me, $5 is going to get you this iPhone. That's a pretty darn irresistible offer, right? Maybe so irresistible that people don't even believe it, but they're willing to give it a shot. And you got testimonials there, and you got, holy crap, I didn't ever even imagine it was true. I just figured, what the heck, I'm going to lose $5, but if he sends me an iPhone, it's worth it. Holy crap, didn't he send me an iPhone? What are the odds? If you have testimonials like that, guess what? You're going to have a lot of people sending you $5, right? Because the value far outweighed what was necessary. Yes, right. Yeah, Scott, and that's exactly what we're jumping to. So this is the absolute basic, right? So this is the basic, and we're going to jump over because I know you guys aren't all that basic, but so basically this is an opt-in page or a sales page and a thank you page. That's as basic as it gets. Now, you guys aren't basic. You guys aren't in GrooveFunnels for basic results. You want maximum results. This is where the multi-million-dollar plans come into play. So here's what that looks like. So we start with video, and that can be an opt-in or that can be a direct sales page. But what we're going to start with is this is just an opt-in, and we're going to go back and reverse engineer this here shortly. Then this is OTO number 1. OTO number one. What that means is one-time offer. It's the first one-time offer. And this basically is another offer that if they joined in the name and email, this now is a buy button. Right now, this is something that gives them value to where it's irresistible. You know, this was an irresistible offer. All of them have to be irresistible. You do your absolute best to make it as no-brainer as send me $5, I'll send you this $1,000 iPhone. Right? You want it to be so ridiculous that the value is far outweighing what you're asking them to do. So give me your name and email, and I'm going to give you this. I have some offers that give away of live events that Mike Vilsaim and I did and other stuff that is a $5,000 event that people paid individually, $5,000 each. We ended up selling the DVDs for over roughly $2 million, all free, just for your name and email, right? The value far outweighs the name and email, right? So you want to have the irresistible offer. Then once they get in, hey, if you like that, you're going to love this. And then you go into an offer that's irresistible that then describes these 9 words. I always go back to the default of simplicity. The 9 words plus the John Carlton formula, right? So the 9 words are tell your story, share your results, sell your system. And that, whether that's a product or service, you can put those 9 words to play in a product, a service, a company, whatever. Tell your story, share your results, sell your system. If you deconstruct Tony Robbins, if you deconstruct Dean Graziosi, if you deconstruct pretty much Mike Vilsaim, anybody, you're going to find they're telling their story, they're sharing their results, and they're selling their system. So how can you tell your story, share your results, sell your system? And then those are the 9 words. And then there's also how to frame the actual offer. So in sell your system, so tell your story, share your results, sell your system. In the sell your system part, here's what John Carlton, one of the top copywriters in the world, created this brief system. Here's what I've got. Here's what it will do for you. Here's what to do next. So you tell your story, you share your results, you sell your system, and then in selling your system, you say, here's what I've got. Here's what it will do for you. Here's what to do next. Right? So you pick any system. So here's what I've got. So what I have for you is it's a video series training that tells you how to achieve these results, right? Here's what you're going to get. So when you get in here, you're going to get these that are going to walk you step by step to achieve this concrete, amazing result. And all you need to do, right? Here's what I've got. Here's what it'll do for you. Here's what's next. All you need to do is click the simple button here, process that payment, and you'll immediately be brought to the members area, where you can get into these within minutes. Within minutes, you'll be digging in, and by the end of this evening, implementing what you were learning in there, right? Tell your story, share your results, sell your system. Here's what I've got. Here's what it will do for you. Here's what to do next. Now they do that. That leads to OTO number 2. So if they bought that, Now you got to follow this process. So someone probably didn't know you. These are just prospects, whole bunch of prospects. See this, like, holy cow, that's pretty amazing. They get into your world by giving their name and email. They're brought to that first offer. Like, you know what? That's pretty darn good. I want that. Yeah, I'll give $5 for that. That's dang right. Here you go. Here's $5. Hey, now I got an iMac Pro here. Congratulations, you took the offer. It was actually just a play of seeing if people would even believe it enough. So congratulations and having the faith in me. I not only deliver all that was promised in that, but more. I'm a big advocate of under promise and over deliver. You're going to find that. And I wanted to reward you. I love people who take fast action. And so what I've done is put together this incredible program that is actually, and you can even put stuff like it's actually for sale out of this system for exponentially more than what you're going to be able to access it for here in a few seconds. And why am I discounting it? Because you trusted me, you took action, and I'm rewarding you with a fast action bonus. So you can tell your story, share your results, sell your system. Here's what I've got. Here's what it will do for you. Here's what to do next. And that's the flow, right? Now, here's where it gets even more fun. So they opt in, they come to the one-time offer. And they're like, man, I really like that, but I'm not too sure. It's just, I don't know. You ever been there? Like, you've probably been there where you opted in, you see this offer, you're like, man, this is pretty darn good. I'm going to pass on it for now. It's okay. Check this out. This is where we now go to a downsell. So I'll just call it downsell 1. Downsell number 1. And just to put everyone at ease as we're doing this is not 100% necessary for everybody to begin with right away. This is just to lay it out there. We're going to go through this process to lay it out there to show you how multiple millions of dollars are produced. It's leading up to this. Begin with the end in mind. Eventually, you want to have a process where your leads come in. They're given an amazing irresistible offer as a one-time offer. The people that take advantage of that are giving another amazing opportunity for a second one-time offer. And each one can be, for instance, this could be, it's up to your price points and whatnot, but this could be a 47, this could be a 197. It's a whole, it's a wide gamut of what the prices could be, but this is one example of some flows that I've done in the past. So initially a $47 upsell, the people that took that could go to a 197. The people that said no to the 47 could go to a downsell of 27. And here's how the flow goes. Generally when you go to a downsell, so remember, here's the flow. People opted in, said, yeah, I like that. I want that. Here's my email. They come to the one-time offer. It's an irresistible offer. You have to assume the only reason they didn't move forward was related to price is the best assumption, right? And even though you don't want to be making assumptions in life, that's the assumption that you can lead you to assuming the sale here. And that's where it's pretty much the same offer minus one little piece, one little element in it. Hey, so once they go through here, they already saw it, they click no, right? So there's the buy button and there's a no thanks button underneath it. They click no thanks, they come here. Hey, I just wanted to let you know before you get into the members area, for whatever reason, you didn't take advantage of that. I get it. Chances are good it was probably related to the price. And I get it. You didn't know me just a few minutes ago. And I wanted to still reward you with a fast action bonus, right? A fast action reward. So in essence, what I want to do is just show you that I am someone who subscribes to under promise and over deliver. And I get it. You probably liked what you saw, but for whatever reason, hey, I don't know who this Tom guy is. I don't know what they're all about. So I just want to prove myself to you. So in essence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the same package that you saw, but instead of $47, I'm just going to remove this one simple element. I'm going to take away that one piece of it, and you get access to all that for only $27. So that's just my way to just show you. And then the return on investment of that is just going to be unbelievable. I guarantee and the guarantee actually is a 30-day full money back guarantee. If it doesn't do all that we say, you just send one simple email to our support desk and you get 100% refunded. And you know what? You get to keep the course anyhow. I'm that confident that this is exactly what you need. If you're looking for that result, this is exactly what you need and want. And I'm looking forward to having this be the beginning of a long-term, amazing relationship between you and I. So simply click that button below, take advantage of this special offer, and I look forward to seeing you inside the members area. Great. Click it now. We'll see you inside there. Right. So things like that, right? And that's just off the cuff, right? And you get what I'm trying to get at. And you've probably witnessed this many, many times while you've been online. Let me just take a look just to make sure I'm not missing any comments over here. Okay. Coffee time, 6:30 a.m. in Singapore. All right. A good deal. Good deal. What are the ways to measure for metrics? Okay. We'll get into some of that. Scott, we're digging into the thank you page of an offer. Yes, for sure. So here's the flow right now. And guess what? You can actually have a downsell on the one-time offer too as well, right? And so they opted in. They took advantage of the first offer that was irresistible. They took it, or they saw the second offer, but for whatever reason they didn't move forward. And similarly, this is now downsell number 2. And similarly to downsell number 1, the one-time offer number 2 is a larger package at 197. You could take out one of the elements, and the same type of flow, you go with the downsell number 2. So people opted in, they bought the first upsell for $47. They saw the second one-time offer, right? Second upsell for $197. They didn't take advantage. So when they click the no thanks, there's a no thank. You want to add a little button below the one-time offers, no thanks. It leads them to the downsell. Same type of premise. Assume it was price related. Hey, congratulations, you took advantage of XYZ package. That's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. I'm super excited that we began this relationship. And guess what? I'm probably guessing you wanted what we had there, right? Because I put my heart and soul into that. That's loaded up with value. It could be 10 times the price of what it is. Matter of fact, out in the real world, not in this particular special offer, it actually sells for 3 times more than that. It sells for $497. I'm giving you for $197, but I wanted to make it irresistible for you. So I've simply taken out one element of that. And you mentioned which one it is, and you can now get it for more than half off. So only $97, you get the same package minus that one element, and you get to reap the benefits. And once again, that comes with a 30-day, no questions, no money, or no questions, no worries, money back guarantee. You don't like the color of anything, whatever reason, 30 days. Hit us back and you get your money back. Absolutely nothing to lose, everything to gain. So take advantage of that. I look forward to seeing you inside the members area, right? So you tell them this is your story, tell your story, share your results, sell your system. You get to the sell your system part and you tell them, here's what I've got, here's what it will do for you, here's what to do next. And it's just a flow. And as you see this flow, it maximizes taking people who don't know you, seeing this first initial offer to give their name and email and or just email. And then once they get there, this would go in the thank you page element, right? So I know there's some of you in here who are experts, some of you who are just getting into all this type of stuff. So this would be what's called the thank you page. So once they opt in, this would be the first thank you page they see, which is a one-time offer. Now, just from this right here, this is a good way to set your intention of here's where I want to build up to. This would be a very nice system to have in place. And so think back and literally, feel free to take a screenshot of this or write it down or whatever, but this would be a great starting point for you to tie into what we're going to dive into in GrooveFunnels and in GrooveSell here shortly. But in essence, here's all it really boils down to is you would need 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, 5 pages created, which then also you'd want to have the thank you page. These are technically thank you pages, but at the end of each of all this, you'd have to have a thank you page, which sets the expectation of where people find or access all this. Now, if you've purchased the full amazing offer that GrooveFunnels has and Groove Member comes out, this could all lead possibly to a membership site. Right, but prior to the membership site element, you now have some thank you page, which would be number 6, which would be the thank you page. So at the end of all these, it could be a video and instructions of what to expect next, right? And it could be inside your email, you're going to see all of the courses that you've taken advantage of. Check your email. You're going to have access details inside your email address, right? So in essence, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6 pages, the thank you page, which probably down the road when Groove Member is done, maybe this all leads towards a whole membership site, which simplifies a lot of this. But in the process right now with Groove Pages and GrooveSell, you need 6 pages. The initial opt-in page, the first one-time offer, the second one-time offer, the first downsell, the second downsell, and then the final thank you page. So basically you need 6 pages created inside Groove Pages. And then once you have those pages created, you then go over to GrooveSell and you go through the flow. So you first create your first thing in GrooveSell is going to be, because GrooveSell is all about payments, right? Groove Pages is the first opt-in page. So that's all within Groove Pages connected to your autoresponder. Then the thank you page goes to the page that you created for your first one-time offer. Now that button there is going to be associated with, so the page is going to be created in Groove Pages. The button, which is the payment button, is going to be created in GrooveSell. So now let's grab the green pen, because now we're going to talk about how many GrooveSell flows you'll need. So this first button is 1 button, 2 buttons, 3 buttons, 4 buttons. So you'd have your initial offer, and then you'd have these as upsells. So initial offer with 3 upsells. And even though 2 are downsells, they're still upsells. And we'll get into that, into some further training. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 initial pages in Groove pages, and then you need 1, 2, 3, 4 offers created inside GrooveSell. So that's it. So in essence, 10 pieces of work, 6 in Groove pages, 4 in GrooveSell, and then coordinating them. So once people, and by the way, underneath the button, you have some terminology of no thanks, right? And I'm sure you've seen this when you've gone through people's funnels, where it's you opt in, you get to the first page, and there's the button, take advantage of it, and then under it, no thanks. When they click no thanks, that would bring them to this as the following page. And so that when you create this in Groove pages, this button would be directly coordinating inside GrooveSell. Underneath the button would be a simple URL that would be the no thanks that would be tagged to send them to this next page over here, right? So I'm hoping this all makes sense. It makes sense to me, but I forget that I know I've been doing this for so long. Sometimes people that are newer at this might be like, whoa, time out, time out. So give me a 1 if you're with me. Give me a 5 and a question if you have a question at this particular stage. Give me a 1 if you're with me. Give me a 5 with your question if you aren't with me or you want some clarification. All right, so we've got Judith in here. Dean, DS is the only way to buy. Downsell is the only way to buy. Mike, hey, Tom. Carrie's with me. Okay, Carrie, glad to hear. Brian's with me. Facebook users with me. All right, cool. Dean is with me. Good deal. And remember, David is also in the background answering questions if you have questions, but here we go. So Nellie has a question. Your flip chart looks great, and I'd love to have a copy, but it looks too faint for a screenshot. Is there somewhere else to get this flow chart? Good question. I just want to hear you explain it once more. Okay, cool. I will do that. Yes. So Nellie, good question. I can move it up closer. This is a simple, this is pretty common. See if that works right there. And I will explain this one more time. And there's the 6th one at the bottom there. That's the thank you page. All right. So it's a pretty common flow, and it's a flow that you'll get so used to as you progress that it just becomes second nature. Now the question is fill in the blanks. Like literally, this is the blueprint, and then say, okay, what is? I'm gonna grab another color marker here. So what is? I'm gonna use IR. What is the irresistible? Well, I don't know why I keep using IR. Irresistible offer. IO. What is the IO? The irresistible offer. So what is that irresistible offer? What are we going to do? What are we going to cast that net to our prospective clients? And this goes into the psychology. So this goes into some of the other trainings that I've done that talk about how to enter the conversation in your prospect's mind. This is stepping back and literally putting yourself in the shoes of your ideal prospects. What are they thinking? What are they seeing? What are they hearing? How are they feeling? And what are the things that keep them up at night? What are their dreams? What are their goals? What are their fears? What are their worries? And how can we enter the conversation in their mind with an offer that goes through this process? AIDA. AIDA. Dean, this is funnel building 101. Yes, Dean, this is absolutely funnel building 101. And we're going to dive in and actually do hands-on inside here shortly. So when you create that initial offer for them to give you their email address, what's the conversation you're entering in the mind, and how can you give them enough value where it goes through this process, AIDA, gets their attention, interest, desire, action. Attention, interest, desire, action. So it's got to get their attention. If you can't get their attention, just think about Facebook. People scrolling, Instagram, scrolling, whatever. Google, scrolling, searching for certain things. Christine, thank goodness there are replays. Yes. And what are you going to do to get their attention? It has to be that attention grabbing headline or that attention grabbing something that pulls that ideal prospect in to say, oh, and the way that you think about it is, here I am looking at the camera. Imagine your ideal prospect, knowing what's going on in their mind. They're scrolling. What's going to stop them from scrolling? Be like, whoa, what's this? That's what attention and interest is all about. And then the desire is to pull them in, and the A, attention, interest, desire, and action. The A is actually getting them to take the action, to opt in. And this has to be in each of your offers: attention, interest, desire, and action. You have to keep their attention. Getting attention is one thing. Keeping it long enough to get their interest and their desire to take action is a whole, it's like art. That's the whole copywriting. That's why copywriters are compensated so highly, because they've got this process down. You can see what's out there in the marketplace and emulate a lot of the flows that you find. But so you have your initial offer. You need the first initial offer, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 initial irresistible offers that you have to create. And you have to literally think, okay, what are the assets? How can I create this value so strong and so powerful that the first one, they're going to give their email. The second one, they're going to give me an investment. In this example, $47. Then when they say yes to that, what's that value for them to say, I'm willing to give $197, right? If they say no to that 47, okay, you probably didn't get it due to price. I'm giving you pretty much the same package, taking one element out, you can get it for 27. And this simple flow. Now, sometimes you probably see people go a little bit overboard, and they may have more upsells and they may have more downsells, which, there's a quote from Dan Kennedy that says, if people keep buying, if you went from 197 to 1997 and someone bought that, so out of 10 people that bought 197, one person bought the 1997, that's worthwhile, right? That's a good payoff. And then if out of the people that bought 1997, you had a $19,997 package. Out of 10 of those people, one of them bought that. So basically the quote from Dan Kennedy is, if someone's buying your highest offer, you need another offer, right? Now, I'm going to say this. It's up to you to determine how many upsells and downsells. And I'm sure you've been caught in what some have called upsell hell, where it's like, geez, I just want it. I'm done already, right? So this is one where people aren't going to get mad or feel upset with you. This is a pretty solid foundation. From the opt-in to the first one-time offer, a second one-time offer to a downsell, opt-in to the first one-time offer to a downsell. Now, we've done stuff where there was second downsell. You could have another downsell. It's up to you to figure out what that perfect mix is for you. But this simple one right here is a great one to start. Now it's just fill in the blocks. Okay, what's my initial irresistible offer? What's that one-time offer irresistible offer? What's that next higher level offer? And what's the downsell? And what's the downsell to that? You follow this, and you're off to a good start. And as I think it was Scott said, you always want to have an offer as a thank you page. Absolutely. Like so you saw on the first page, super basic is opt in to thank you page. Yep, you're going to grow your email list, but you're not maximizing that relationship. You're not doing what's in their best interest. If you're just welcoming them on board and not giving them additional ways, you're kind of dropping the ball. So this is a perfect way to deliver more value to your marketplace and produce returns right away. So instead of going on the basic one from an opt-in page to a thank you page, opt-in page to an offer, which is the one-time offer upsell, to another upsell, to a downsell, to a downsell. Pretty simple. All right. So when they do that, I get irritated past 2 upsells. Carrie, yes. Yeah, 2 upsells generally is a safe zone. Some people just go way overboard. It's pretty interesting. So Tom, here does the no thank you link go to. Okay, great. That's a good point. Okay, so let me break that down again. Great question, Facebook user. So okay, so after the opt-in is simply an opt-in, right? They're out there doing their thing. They're, whether it's an ad or whether they come across your landing page, they see the offer, they give you their name and email. Once they go to the one-time offer, now you're asking for money. So on the page, and we'll show you that when we jump into Groove pages, you'd have the purchase button there, and underneath the purchase button, a simple no thanks, like a simple no thanks. And you'll see, I'm sure you've probably seen lots of examples in your history of being online. And some of them, like, yes, no, I don't want this, they go a little bit longer, but it's up to you to determine what the right copy for that is. But it can be under the button, something simple as no thanks, and you hyperlink that. And all it is a simple hyperlink to your other downsell. And then if they say no thanks here, that leads to your thank you page. And you may need a couple different thank you pages. You could have a thank you page for each different path, or just have each path be handled via email. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can handle the actual fulfillment of what people took advantage of. Whether they went here, said no thanks, and all they got was this, that could be a whole separate thank you page. All they got was that initial thing. The different variations of the purchases and non-purchases. But to answer your question, the no thanks link simply goes under the order button. So on each of your offers, underneath the order button, a no thanks. Okay, so we map that out, and this is something you'd want to do just with a piece of paper. And I could go a little more advanced, but we'll dive into some of that other stuff on a future training. I think this is a good enough overview of a great starting point. So now that you know this, then it's up to you to jump into Groove pages and start building your opt-in page, start building your first one-time offer, your second one-time offer, your first downsell, your second downsell, and your thank you page. And then going over to Groove Sell. And actually, so what you can in essence do is, if you aren't ready to go this route, this is the perfect funnel for a simple process. So your opt-in page, one-time offer. If they say yes, it goes to the thank you page. If they say no, it goes to a downsell. If they say yes, it goes to a thank you page. If they say no, it goes to a thank you page. Right. So that simple process right there is money as well. Opt-in page to one-time offer, downsell. That works pretty daggum solidly. So if you don't have enough assets yet, that's okay. Opt-in page, one-time offer, downsell. You don't have to worry about the second one-time offer and the second downsell. Opt-in page, one-time offer, downsell. Right. So that's, let me just break that down for you. So this is the version 2. Version 1. We'll use green. It's gonna be money. This thing's sagging down or what? Oh, it's just the way that I didn't pull that piece of paper up. Okay. All right. So we do the name, email. Money. No thanks. And then a downsell. Which is, in essence, they call it an up. These all, when we get to Groove Sell, I'll show you, but technically on the paper like this, it's a downsell, but it's an upsell in Groove Sell. So then let's just give an example of, like, this could be 97 and this could be 47. All right, so something, okay, so they opt in, you bring them to a one-time offer, $97, take it or leave it. If they click no thanks, they go to the downsell. And either way, it also brings them to the thank you page. Right, so you need 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages, 4 pages in Groove pages, and you would need the main offer in GrooveSell and a second offer, which would be an upsell, right? So your two offers in GrooveSell, and that's it, right? So opt-in page, initial one-time offer, downsell, and then when they take that, it would lead to a thank you page if they say no, and whether they say yes or no to that, it also leads to a thank you page. All right, so that's the simple version. Okay, let's see what we got here. When they do that, I get irritated. Saw that one. Yep. Okay. Where does the no thank you? Okay, they got that. And sorry to leave, guys. Got to run. Okay, Carrie, have a great one. Good seeing you here. All right. So now I'm going to share the screen and we're going to dive in. So now I'm going to go to Chrome tab, GrooveFunnels, share. Okay. Okay, so we are in GrooveFunnels, and I'm going to click over to Groove Pages, and let me just check to make sure that y'all are with me. Okay, yep. Wait, yep. Okay, good. We're in GrooveFunnels. Perfect. So, in essence, once you're in GrooveFunnels, and we want to make that simple thing, basically all you would need to do is first integrate your email autoresponder, right? So the first step is to have an opt-in. And we recommend opt-in first versus just straight to a sales page for this simple reason. A well-created opt-in page that provides that value is going to get you, if done poorly, probably 30 out of 100 people to opt in. 30% conversion is not unexpected. It's pretty much, you want to get over 30%. You do it a little bit better, you can get 40%. Even better, 50%, 60, 70. People can get that high and more. So out of your advertising and or the people that come to your page, out of 100 people, you're getting between 30 and 70, depending on how well the opt-in page is converting and how well you've created it. They're now joining your list. That now that they're in your list, you can get them to know, like, and trust you. And whether or not they take advantage of the upsells or downsells, you now have them in your world. Versus sending people straight to a purchase page, like an order page, where they see an offer, which a successful offer page straight from cold traffic to offer at 1%, you're doing pretty good. If you can go from cold traffic to 1 out of 100 people purchasing, that's pretty good. 2% doing a little better, 3% doing a little better. And then I hear some people in my head say, well, what about webinars? Well, webinar, think about it, is to an opt-in page. Now, the only difference is the one-time offer is actually the webinar, which leads to the offer itself, right? So that's following a process similar to an opt-in page, a one-time offer. And the only difference is a webinar is a registration page where you capture them and they come on your list to then hopefully attending the webinar. But not everybody that registers for a webinar attends a webinar. So keep in mind, it's better to send people to some way to capture their information, get them in your world via their email, in most cases, than just going straight to a sales page. Okay, so you integrate your opt-in autoresponder. View actual size. Okay. And I already have mine here. So I have Aweber and ActiveCampaign. All you need to do is click on add, pick which one you want to integrate, go through the steps, integrate. And how I got there was over in the corner, these 3 pancake things, click on it, integrations. Once you've integrated that, now all you need to do is create your site. And from here, there's a whole bunch of templates and you get to pick the templates. And generally, if we're following that process, you could do something like this. Let's just select this. We'll select that. And we're going to create this. Okay, now this is interesting. So it just hit me. This is going to be cool. All right, so basically all you need to do is have your opt-in page here, right? So first thing we're going to do is site settings. We're going to name it. So brief funnel example, right? You can name it whatever you want. and give it a whole bunch of stuff that you can do there. But we're going to skip over that for now. Just name it. And then from here, in essence, you could go over to pages and you could actually clone, right? So clone. And you could go back to that one. Like, so basically once you get it squared away, you can clone these. And I'm going to show you what this is doing. Clone, right? So now we've got the main, so this is, watch what I'm going to do here, rename. So, and I'm just going to do this for example here. So this is your opt-in page. And you wouldn't want to name these this, but I'm just showing you for example. Photo 1, which is your initial upsell. Photo 2, which would be your downsell. And then this one could be your thank you page. See how I just did that? Now, obviously, well, maybe not so obvious. I'll clarify this here now. But so now all I did is chose this initial page and cloned it, right? So now you'd want to wait until you had your stuff in there, right? As far as your all your stuff squared away, your graphics, things like that. But once you get that initial feel, look squared away, all you can do is go to pages and clone it. And then you could actually drag these down to hidden pages, right? So Oto 1's down there, Oto 2's down there, right? So you'll see how all this works. So in essence, it's all under one name, right? So you name this whatever, like Apple Fast strategies, whatever the heck your niche is and your value is. It's there. Now all it is up to you is to take these assets and create them. And then so here, this one, we want an opt-in page. So you would make this one an opt-in page. The one-time offer one, you'd have your video, and this would be a purchase page. So and then below that, you'd want to do the text of the no thanks. All right. So I'll do this quickly because I don't have time to go super deep in it, but basically, let me say here. So I'm going to just do element. And I'm just going to do no thanks. Okay, so this is the first, that's the first upsell, right? This one is the first one. So basically, so what I'm gonna do here is change this to edit settings. And I'm gonna, wait a minute. That's not it. Okay, so how do I do that one? Let me see here. Okay, here we go. So page URL. So this is gonna be just for grins, Oto. You wouldn't want to name it that, but I'm just, you see here it says /Oto. This is going to be edit settings. You wouldn't want to name it that, but just so you see it. And then this one, edit settings. Thank you page. I don't want to name it that, but just for example. So now you have your main URL, and it's the index, that's going to be the main URL. /Oto is the first upsell. /downsell is the second one. So if I go to this one, actually, first in order for me to mentally grasp this, I'd have to publish it. So to publish it, I'm going to host it on the site. I'm going to pick funnel, TomBeal.com, group pages, funnel, publish. All right, so that's publishing. And so in essence, that whole URL plus downsell would be what I'm looking for. So if I go to OTO1, the no thanks, and I did all that just so I could do this here. So now I'm going to put this URL here, which is that, and it's downsell. So no thanks. So that's how to answer the question that I saw in the chat. I don't remember who asked it, but that's how you simply do the no thanks, right? And that one maybe is a little big, and maybe you'd want to make it a little less easy to see. You don't want to encourage people to click no thanks, right? So you could change the color, you could do all sorts of different things, make it a little more transparent, all sorts of different things to make it not stand out so much. But just as simple, showing you how and what to do. So here you would put, well, first of all, going back to page, this would be the page where it would be your opt-in page, right? So you'd want to put the headline that would get their attention, gain their interest enough for them to watch the video, and then opt in. Now with all this other stuff down here, remember one of the first things we talked about is how long does it need to be? As long as it needs for people to make the proper decision. For an opt-in page, maybe it's just the video, the headline, the video, and that's it. And you can delete all this other stuff. That's up to you to figure out what's needed, but you can do all this. Go up to that. I'm going to delete that. And it's as simple as that. You can just go through and delete the things that you don't want. And there you go, right? So this opt-in page, that might be all you need. Headline, video, and this would lead to your opt-in, which you have integrated with your autoresponder. And then over here, you may or may not need all this stuff. You could delete them as needed. Got rid of all those logos. This could be, whatever you need to have there. XYZ company. Name it, whatever you want to name it. But then you go to the one-time offer one. Okay. This would be where they already opted in. So this would be a headline that, wait, your order is not. Okay. Oops. Customize order. It's showing up on my screen there. Customize your order. 8. Step 2 of 3. You've probably seen this type of stuff, right? You could have, and there's all sorts of different things. You could have progress bars, things like that. But anyhow, this goes now into your video, which sells them your first purchase. Now, this is where you jump over to GrooveSell, and you configure this like, yes. Whatever that is, and then you'd have the URL, which you would copy from GrooveSell. Show you that in a second. GrooveSell, I'll just put GrooveSell.com. So this would be where you would get your URL from GrooveSell that you created that one-time offer, and in that case, it was $97, right? So you went through GrooveSell, and at the end of it, you now have a URL from GrooveSell. When they click on this button, you would copy it from GrooveSell, and you'd paste it in here. When they click on it, it would now bring them to the order page in GrooveSell. And then in GrooveSell, you would link to the other pages. All right, so, and I'll show this for you real quick. So I'm going to update that, and I'm just going to jump over to GrooveSell real quickly, just to show you this. So 2 separate things. 1, you have to build the pages over in Groove Pages, and 2, you've got to go and build everything in GrooveSell. And just to give an example, we'll go into this one. And we'll do this. So 7-figure code. All right, so I'm going to go manage products. All right, so this one, order button. That's the order. Okay, so single price checkout, one step, yes. So there's URL. So this one, in this instance, I had $77. So I'm just going to pick this one just as example. So this is the checkout page link. And it's totally not the one that is for this, but you get what I'm saying. After you created your pages in Groove Pages, you come over to GrooveSell, you create your sales, which basically breaks down what price it is, where people go on the thank you page, things of that in that nature. So you'd click your checkout page link. Yeah, I copied it, and then I would go back over to Groove Pages. I would pick this one. Would go to Pages, OTO1, and right here, I click Configure. I paste that there. Update. I publish that. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So there's the opt-in page. There it is. It's live. If we go to funnel, what I name that first one? Auto. All right, customize your order, step 2 of 3. Yes, I want this now. That's going to be the $77 for the code that we got there, and no thanks should bring us to the downsell. Oh, I didn't do it right. Okay. So this one, if I click on that, it's going to bring me to the order button. $77, right? So there's that. I'm going to go out of that. And then, so the other thing was, if they click no thanks, okay, downsell. Oops. Okay, I forgot what that one was. So I got to go back. Pages, opt-in, publish. So it's that one. There it is, downsell. Okay. That's the URL. Basically what I did is got the URL, so I needed to go on OTO1 when I have the no thanks. That's the URL that I want them to go to, downsell. Click that, boom, publish, all set. So now, when we go back to the normal OTO, here, so it's that URL, tombeal.groovepages.com/funnel/OTO. When I click no thanks, it's now going to bring me to, oh, okay. Oh, it's doing it double. Okay, I'm glad I saw that. Hold on a second. So this. I just need to, how do I do it internally? I might ask David on this one. I've never, is it /?
What are you trying to do?
Basically, when they click no thanks, it's going to go to this page, downsell.
Yeah, so instead of a text link, just use next to a button in the elements, you will have a button and then a text link where you will be able to choose the page.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for that. So I go here, pages, OTO1. So instead of a URL, I go here.
So you
on the text here.
Change this no thanks with another element from the elements tab.
Okay. Elements.
Yeah, and
make it a button or something.
Yeah, down at the bottom you have a text link, you see?
Okay, text link, yep.
And just pull that one just below, exactly.
Perfect. I'll get rid of this one, delete that, confirm. Perfect. So there it is. No thanks.
You configure it in the upper right-hand side corner.
Here. Oh, thanks. Link to page photo 2. There it is. Perfect. There it is. So that's how to do it. So the old way, like in my old, without having Groove pages, I did it the old way that I showed you. This way, all we did was go to elements. I went down to buttons, and you have a solid button, you have a text link, and pull in the text link, which was that one. You highlight it, you go to configure, you change the text, not today, thank you, whatever you want to name it to. And then you click page, because we already created a page for this particular thing. And then you pick which page it is, which is OTO2. Update it. There you have it. I'm going to change that back to no thanks. Thank you, David. Thanks. Update. Okay, simple as that. And then we publish it. And then if we go back over to that URL, if we type in photo, now when we scroll down to no thanks, it brings us to still something off on that. Let me check it real quick. No thanks. Configure page. Okay. For some reason, I did something a little wonky. Let's figure out what it is. Last attempt. So it looks like it's doing, for some reason, David, I don't know if you can see that on the, I'm going to send you a private chat of what it's doing. It's for some reason double posting that URL. I'm going to send you a private chat in StreamYard, because that might be actually a little mini bug that we just found. So I just sent that over to you in private chat. And as you'll notice, it's doing the URL, the base URL twice. Anyhow, okay, cool. So that's something that I passed to David. We'll get a closer look at that. But that is the simple way to do the whole funnel that we talked about. And that actually leads to a great point. Let me ask you this. Were any of you on the amazing presentation prior to us being here today, where Mike Filsame showed what's coming soon in the near future with Groove Pages, Groove Cell? Were any of you there? And if you were, you know how amazing and how excited others are going to be. If you weren't, the replay is going to be up in the next 24 to 48 hours. And it's going to be worth watching. And I'm going to show you a little brief peek here shortly. But first, let me take a look at some comments here. George, would be a lot clearer if the drawings have used a black or red pen. Okay, perfect. And I did on the other page, but not on this one. Nelly, thank you. Sorry, Tom, I have to leave. Peter, all right, we'll see you. Loved it. No, yes. Okay. Oh, so Scott was there. Loved it. Yeah. So what Mike shared was absolutely unbelievable. And and that's why I'm not digging super deeply into super advanced stuff here, because what we're teaching now is going to be with the new updates changed in ways that are going to be different than what you're going to be using in just a few weeks. But in the meantime, I want to simplify this for you. I want you to get in and see how simple it was to just find the right template. As you saw, we did the initial opt-in page here. You saw how I deleted certain elements to it, made it super simple. I went in prior to deleting it, I duplicated it by simply clicking on that, clone, and then I went in and renamed them all and dragged them down to hidden pages. And all you have to do to rename them is click on the three buttons where it has the three dots. You can go to edit settings and you can rename it. You can change the page URL. You can give it a page title. keywords, all those different details are right there for you. And then it's literally just filling in the blanks and going through the process of creating the irresistible offer on your opt-in page, creating the irresistible offer on your one-time offer, and same thing for the second one, and then same thing for the third thank you page, right? So inside here is how and where you go to modify everything. And then all you have to do is go back over to GrooveSell, and we have trainings on GrooveSell that you'd want to watch to get a handle on how to do that. Let me go in and give you examples real quickly, just on what we showed. So in essence, this was the 7-figure code one. So I'm going to go in here real quickly and just show you a couple things. So in essence, when you go in and create your front end product and or your upsell / downsell, and they have it there because whether it's an upsell or downsell, it's pretty self-explanatory. You pick that. So the initial front end offer will be that first offer, which can be on the chart that we drew out would be your one-time offer, right? So the opt-in page is totally separate, all done within Groove Pages. You come in here and create your front end page. You go through these different processes. And as you see, you pick pricing, you pick your gateways, you pick the content, the checkout, the bumps, the funnel fulfillment, etc. As we're going to go through here, here's the funnel, right? So this is the funnel. So now, once in this example, I chose many different price points. And so at the end of this, so if this is your first, this is the initial one, the thank you page, you want to go to an upsell page. This is where you put the upsell page URL, right? So you you already created that upsell in GrooveSell, and that's where you would paste the upsell. I'm sorry. That's where you'd paste the page from Groove Pages, the upsell page. So it's a little confusing to describe. So when you're in here, so after they purchase this post-transaction URL, the post-transaction URL, so the first one-time offer, they opted in, they now see the one-time offer. Now you have if you had a second one-time offer, this is where you'd put an upsell page. If you didn't have a second one-time offer, you would just send them directly to a thank you page, which you can modify inside here as well. So it's all dependent upon whether or not you stick with the basic flow that we talked about, which is the opt-in, the one-time offer, a downsell, and either option leads them to a thank you page, or if you go the advanced notion that we went through initially, which is the opt-in, one-time offer, second one-time offer. From the first one-time offer, there's a downsell, and from the second one-time offer, there's a downsell. That's a little more in-depth of adding a couple more upsells and downsells of the purchase buttons that would be in GrooveSell. And all of the pages would be created in Groove Pages. It's a little confusing to digest in the beginning. I get it. So if you're sitting there wondering, like, what the heck is Tom talking about? It's understandable, but once you do it a few times, it's going to be super easy. And I'll just get out of this page just to show you real quickly. So I'm going to leave that. Okay, if we can take that one out, stop that one. All right, so that one green, yeah, I get it. I didn't use green. This one hopefully is a little more legible. So depending upon which path you're going with, the initial opt-in, a one-time offer, a second one-time offer. If they say no to the first offer, there's a downsell. If they say no to the second offer, there's a downsell, and all lead to the thank you page. That's the option. That's the more advanced option. The simpler option, which my apologies for not being super bright using the green one on this one, but the opt-in to a one-time offer, to a downsell, to a thank you page. So all you need to do is inside Groove Pages, like you saw me do, is create your initial opt-in page, your one-time offer, and your downsell, and then the thank you page. Once you create those, then you also need to integrate the initial offer and then the upsell. Even though it's a downsell, that's the initial offer, and that's the upsell / downsell. And you'd have two order buttons. One order button, you'd get that URL that you would post on that URL there. For the no thanks, you would go to, just like we showed you there, to drag in, instead of the button, drag in the text, link that text to the proper page. If they say no thanks, you would want to redirect them to that page. And if they say no thanks to that one, you redirect them to the thank you page. And if they click that button, that would lead to the second offer, which would be a downsell. So it's simple flow. You'll get it once you play around inside Groove Pages and GrooveSell. Just to let me know, give me a 5 if you followed along with the training, or give me a 5 with a follow-up question that you want. If you have some clarification that you want. All right, broad tip marker is good for flip charts. Yes, awesome. Thank you. It's a great start for me. Juan Valdez. All right, Christine, loved it. Mind blown. Very good. Eric Strickland, good to have you here. Very helpful. Gene, Dean, see you later. Both Aweber and Active Campaign. Okay, that's a good question, George. George asks, from your previous setup, you showed that you have both Aweber and Active Campaign. Why do you have 2 autoresponders? That's a great question. That's only because I have an app, which is, I have an iOS and Android app that uses Active Campaign, and I have other email lists that use Aweber. That's just my own personal business that has 2 different autoresponder services that I use. Some people have several. You could have more than one Aweber account with multiple businesses or multiple business partners, things of that nature, and or different autoresponder systems integrated into Groove Pages. For me personally, that's just due to I would have had it all in Aweber, but my iOS and Android app needed a little more integration, and that's where Active Campaign came in to work for me. And that's the only reason I have the 2. So it's not necessary to have more than one. Great question, George. Christine followed along. Eric followed along. George followed along. Nelly followed along. Eric, Tom's awesome coach. Thank you. Juan Valdez followed along. Very, very good. So in the beginning, I did post a slide that said the challenge. And I think I may have skipped over it, getting all excited about tough times don't last, but tough people do, and getting into that. So I hope that was helpful as well. But what I did share in the slide that I might not have actually brought up was every week we have a challenge of creating a page, right? So creating an opt-in page or creating a sales page and sharing it every week that we get together. So if you created a page from last week to this week that you want to share, go ahead and share that in the chat and we'll take a quick look at it. And then if you haven't, or this is the first time you joined us, there's a challenge out there now for you to take this action to get it into Groove Pages and go create. First, integrate your autoresponder in there. Go create an opt-in page and or go create a sales page, and then be ready to share it next week when we meet, and I'll be able to give a critique, give a review of your particular page. If you were able to do one since last week, let me know. Where do I start? So, okay, that's a great question. Need some practice, Kenneth. Yep, Vancouver. Good to see you here, Johan. Where do I start? So it's experiential. You want to roll your sleeves up and jump into Groove Pages and jump into GrooveSell. But you also can go to this URL, groovedigitalacademy.com. And if you haven't created your account yet, simply create your account. If you did, simply log in. And once you log in, you're able to access the trainings. So there's trainings here, all here to help you in GrooveCart, GrooveFunnels, Groove Digital. Go to GrooveFunnels trainings, and right away you're going to have some quick help, some onboarding series, some Groove video search, webinar replays on demand, which have these weekly webinars on demand. Groove Pages, publish your site, website publishing, integrations, GrooveSell, product funnels.
Sorry, Tom, we are not able to see your screen there.
Perfect. Awesome. I am seeing it just fine, but y'all are not seeing it. How about I share that screen? That might be helpful. Thanks for letting me know, David. Okay, Groove Digital Academy. Okay, so once you go to groovedigitalacademy.com, and if David, if you could post that into the chat. And if you haven't created your account, it's simple. Just create your email address, log in. And when you're there, you get to get some quick help, some onboarding series, Groove video search, webinar replays on demand. For Groove Pages, you can publish your site, website building, how to do your integrations, GrooveSell, product funnels, products, Groove Affiliate. If you're not an affiliate, it's some great money that can be made while you learn how to use GrooveFunnels and GrooveSell. You can go learn some affiliate tips. You can get some walkthroughs on the Groove Partner Program, Groove Pages for affiliate marketing, GrooveFunnels promotional tools, Groove Pages custom domains, and then Lemonade. David Lemon has some good live Q&A sessions and some great trainings that you want to take a peek at as well. And that's all for you inside GrooveDigitalAcademy.com. Also, if you go to Facebook.com, inside the inside the group for GrooveFunnels, you're going to find huge amounts of value there, to include special webinars from Mike Filsame, like happened today before we all jumped on here today. And David's on there, and some other amazing trainers are on there as well. That if you're not inside the Facebook group, you want to do that. And other than that, that's it. The best way to learn is experientially. In the beginning, as with any new tool, it's going to be a little more complicated, and going to have some things that might require some perseverance, require some figuring things out, and that's just part of any new tool. But once you get it, you're like, I got it now, okay. And then we dive into all the different resources and all the help, and then you also have the community inside the Facebook group. We're all here to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And the best way to do it is experientially. Roll your sleeves up, get in there, play around, and go in there with the intent of, all right, I want to create an opt-in page, and I'm going to figure this out, and watch how simply and quickly you will be able to figure it out. And also stay tuned for the replay of that training that Mike Filsame did a little bit earlier. That should be up in the next 24 to 48 hours. And other than that, David, do we have any questions inside the chat that I didn't see?
Well, at this point, George has one question on another outside question. What's happening with GrooveCon and Marketers Cruise? So on this one, there will be updates on what is happening. At this point, there have been delays during this Corona crisis and everything. So there will be updates on these. But at this point, we still don't know.
Yeah, it's going with the flow on that one, George. It's a good question, and I am anxious to know as well. I was telling David before we went live, I was original co-founder of the Marketers Cruise, and I've been on 13 of the 14, and was disappointed that this one had to be postponed. This 15th annual one is postponed currently. So as soon as we get details on that, we'll definitely let you know inside the Facebook group, I'm sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all on at GrooveCon and on the Marketers Cruise when it is able to occur. All right.
Yeah, I don't think there are any other questions. Georgia says, I just don't want to miss it.
Me either. It's going to be fun, especially coming out of all this craziness. So just remember what we talked about in the beginning here. Put your blinders on. Take care of yourself, and then schedule the big rocks. The big rocks are, okay, I need an opt-in page. If you haven't connected your autoresponder, go get that. Integrate your autoresponder. If you haven't created an opt-in page, go create an opt-in page. If you haven't created an offer for your one-time offer after they opt in, go create that. One step at a time. Fill in the blanks of the format that we discussed and rolled out today, and watch how that can get the engine going, and also help you learn the skills that will pay the bills, in the upcoming months and years. And it begins with just rolling your sleeves up and digging in. Use the resources we have there for you. And we look forward to seeing you again, same place, same time next week. Until then, go create those pages, and I look forward to seeing them next week so we can review them and give some feedback for you. Thanks again, David, for all that you do. And thank you all for joining us. Look forward to seeing your pages when we join next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you.